you so much. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to thank you so much for being here with us, whether you're in our viewing audience and you have been very patient as we work through our little growing pains here with our live streaming, or if you're watching us on replay, thank you so much. Or if you're out in watching us in Zoom land, or if you are on YouTube, thank you for being with us. Tonight, I am very excited to let you know that our very own Stone Hobbit is going to be presenting tonight. Now, I don't know if you know, but Stone is a lifelong experiencer, and she is a survivor from abductee to contactee. She's an intuitive. She's a galactic ambassador with us. She is a walk-in, a hybrid. She's a motivational speaker. She's an author, a radio and screen host, and she draws from a wide range of internal and intuitive knowing from her spiritual traditions, her practices, and the elements of shamanism. She's dedicated to helping individuals expand beyond the physical realm and to connect with their own higher selves and their inner wisdom. Now, to find one's authentic truth and meaning, they have to explore their own personal development through mindfulness and self-reflection. And Stone is someone who has really spent a great deal of time with the self-reflection and a lot of self-healing. And so my hat's off to you, Stone, for everything that you have done. I want to thank you for being part of the Galactic Alliance, and I want to thank you for being our speaker tonight. So I'll go ahead and bring you on up.
Thank you, Sheila. And first of all, thank you to everybody else out there. If you're there and you're watching this, and everybody in the background, I've gotten to, oh, there goes the voice, and I haven't even started. I've gotten to know and recognize a few of your frequencies. And so, deep appreciation for the journeys that each and every single one of you have taken to get into this here and now stage. And it is fantastic. There was a time back there in my life when I did what I was told to do. And it wasn't the best of things. Later on, as I got older, I discovered what had happened in my life wasn't the normality. It was against my free will. I was being harvested. And so from there, I discovered the breakdown in organizations, those that are there and they say that they're there to help and heal and mend, and you can trust in us. And I later found out that that wasn't the case. That wasn't what was happening to me. And throughout this journey, I've had different types of beings and entities popping in here and there and everywhere. And for what I deemed my normality was other people's paranormal experiences. So at a very early age, I was seeing and communicating with ghosts, shadow beings. And when I talk about the shadow beings, that's one particular dimension just on their own. And it is a reflection of light. So throughout this journey with the different guardians that have come in, and I've recognized the ways, because it's happened so often, I've recognized patterns of, and it's like a disturbance in the force field, okay? And you know that they're coming, something's coming in, because you've had all these other areas of communication, and over a period of time, you get to recognize we are frequency signatures. We are energy. We're in this fantastic spaceship called the vessel, called the human vessel. We're not just one, we're having an experience, we're having many experiences in one go. We are multidimensional through these encounters of communications with the different beings that are out there. they've shown me that each of my chakras, what we call our chakras, are basically cockpits to being able to be portals and travel through ourselves into these dimensions and communicate with other versions of ourselves that are living in and like everyday lives like what we are here in this now. And being able to travel through my own portal to a platform and communicate with another version, dimensional version of myself, and share the information and see the influences around us that come in and try to knock out the information before we get back. Growing up, I had what was known as night terrors, sleep paralysis, night sweats. I felt like I had something was choking me with hair down my throat, and I couldn't breathe, and I'm gagging, and I'm trying to pull this hair out of my throat. I've had experiences where I've been chased throughout the house by a shadow being. I've gone for walks and seen mists form out of nowhere and then manifest into a small human being that could actually communicate face to face with me. And it's been by recognizing the patterns, I've been able to pick up the stages faster and faster and faster. And when I'm able to recognize this information, wherever I go, I carry it with me. And if I'm in clear intent in knowing what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, when I'm out there interacting at my limits, so I'm not going to get infected by what every one of us have. We deal with our stuff. What they used to tell me karma wasn't. It isn't. It doesn't sit right with me. What I do when I'm aware of it, that's the karma I carry for this time. So I can do something about it because I can recognize it. But if something, a power that be out there is expecting me to unravel and repair any karma I might have done back in there, they can all go jump, because everything I've experienced in the here and the now at this time, I have paid fair due, and something else is, my rewards are coming. It's like every negative thing, experience, feeling state, psychological stuck states that I have gone through in this magnitude of experiences, and it didn't stop. I'd get to one part of my journey and think, wow, geez, I got through that. That's bloody brilliant. I want to talk to somebody about it. But then I would start talking to them, and I'd discover new stuff that didn't sit right with me, and I'd like, nah, got to move on. I didn't stay in a place too long. That was part of the programming. In my lifetime, from 5 to 16, I had lived in over 26 houses, 26 homes. We'd moved, I don't know how many times we moved, but I went to 13 different schools. One of those schools, I was sent to another country where I was not to have any contact at all, no written letters, no phone calls, no form of contact with my biological family. That was my siblings, because that was the cult, that was the belief systems, that was the program, the order that I was raised in. In the early days, I now can talk to it. I can share with all out there the experiences and the different depths of it. if someone needs to go so deep that they get to the nitty-gritty, the darker side of it, I see that they've got areas that they're trying to release themselves and they haven't been able to get a grasp of it. So I have this ability that I call cat spray. And there are a lot of different terminologies for it over the ages. I grew up having abilities because of the contact and the communication that I was having with all these beings that would show up when I was going through the experiences that I was going through. Now, knowing that each of us we are multidimensional, so we're communicating with many different sides of ourselves, many different depths of ourselves as well. So if you have an interaction with someone, you're sharing with that someone all of that information, vice versa. But if you get put into a fear stuck state, you don't share your stuff. You close down. You could, right? But you've still released enough for whomever around that was trying to take it and created the fear state in the first place. So I got to break different layers, get to see different forms and types of communication. I went through accidents. I don't call them accidents anymore because each one of them has heightened another area of my abilities. Like I crashed into a concrete lamppost when I was a kid and I went blind, completely blind. But in that moment, I had my hearing, my sense of taste, my smell, my senses, the fields, the auric touch and the energies around me were heightened because I couldn't see it. All right. I had to feel my way, find my way. And then I fell out of a tree with my sister and we both busted our eardrums. So I was deaf. So my other senses, this is when my vision had come back. I went and had another accident, and I went blind. So I went blind, then I went deaf, okay, completely deaf. And so other senses came online and I could see and feel things different than I did earlier on. I could sense people. I'm 5 or 6, okay. I could sense people coming to the house before they even got here. I was at that stage now, I can recognize it now, but I didn't at the time. It was just an ability. I was having psychic awareness. I was having psychic abilities. I was seeing visitors before they came. I was hearing the phone before the phone message came through, the good old dial numbers, Then the more I became aware of stuff and abilities, the more I got attacked. I got hit hard. I was proving in a life reincarnation of myself when I was 7. And I got to meet my my mother from a previous incarnation. This gets absolutely trippy. My story, my journey is absolutely trippy, and I'm loving it because as a walk-in, right? And that goes right back to the start. That goes right back to the start. I came in early. I had to recognize the signs of what a walk-in was. I had to recognize the signs of what a hybrid was. All right. And then it was like, wow, bang. Okay, I accept that. I acknowledge it. Oh, I'm getting lots of frequencies around me at the moment. I recognized the frequencies as they come in. I recognize the stages as they come in. Things that I used to have. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted by the communication that's going on. I cannot guarantee where this goes. Okay.
It's okay. We're going to love it wherever it goes, Stone.
So when I had interactions with people against my will, I was taking on their information. I was taking on their contacts with their beings, their dimensional information that came to me. As I got older through my life and I started proving that I had abilities, I started learning that these abilities had labels. All right. I mean, at that particular stage, I was predicting accidents right from, I think I was 13, and I was able to actually get people's attention, they could actually see and witness. And before that state, it was, oh, you're just crazy, you're just telling stories. You go over there, you don't know what you're talking about, you little girl. Okay, that's how it was. Nobody wanted to know that I talked about my other family before I got here. And what it came down to was, being a walk-in, I came into a vessel that was genetically manipulated, okay, over the ages to be created by the bio units, my parents, at that particular time. So this is the bio unit you're looking at. Then the walk-in self, the conscious awareness of who I am at this point, has come in and has recognized when I came in. I came in a month premature. All of the stuff that was led up to my birth, my mother dying on the table, being resuscitated, my leg being born first and then reinserted, and then being born with the veil over my face, which is the placenta, then being incubated for X amount of days, 26, 27 days, being released from the hospital 27th day or something, and then the next day my sister being put into hospital, she just turned 1, being put into hospital, she'd gotten into medication and died. Then from there I started getting passed around to family after family after family, and it never stopped. Okay, it never stopped. So I got to be in a lot of different frequencies. And being intuitive right from the start, I got to see and sense and communicate with a lot of different beings that became familiar beings, because they weren't alone. They had other beings as well that were interacting. So we see us as humans here right now interacting, and I think that's fantastic. But then there's another level to it. There's level after level of it. And there's beings around us, with us all the time, that have interacted with other beings that we've come into contact with. It's absolutely insane, but I have seen it. And when I was first given a camera, I started getting these dots, these images and things on my camera. And I'd gone through the different stages of, I lost a child to cot death when I was 19. And that was a big awakening. I had a lot of entities. I had an encounter where a light came into the room. It came into the room twice. Once I was laying on my front with my face in my pillow, because it was the second time around I knew exactly what I was doing. I had a person in the bed next to me, and the light came in the room. It totally filled up the room. And I thought I was going to go blind. I thought I was going to go all this stuff. And then an image of Jesus was coming down the steps, and he was holding the hand of my son who'd just passed. But then something happened. My son reached out to take my hand, and I couldn't do it. At the very last minute, I pulled away. It didn't feel right. And then once it totally vanished, the whole feeling state, and I dropped back down here. I begged for it to happen again. I said I wouldn't be a chicken. I want this experience. And as soon as it started to happen, I put my face into the pillow. I rolled over, put my face in the pillow. But it still happened. But this time when they came down the steps, it wasn't the same as the last time. I saw them as something different. They were not who I first saw. I recognized them as a tall grey and a short grey. And then later on down the stages, I had experiences with this white light that was the light that came into my room that day. This light came back to me again. And each time it came to me, it was associated with these little greys. And then I started encountering and doing a lot more work with the shadow beings, I made a connection one day and realized that these shadow beings are all from the same dimension. As we are here and we have all these animals and birds and life forms around us, they do too in their dimensions. Okay. And so somehow I was getting pulled through an experience one day. And it was after all the Jesus experiences and all the other entities that reached their hands out to me, and I refused, because this became a pattern in itself. I broke sleep paralysis. And to me, that is really huge. If you have ever experienced what it's like to be fully awake and aware, and you're in complete physical paralysis, but you can hear what your partner who's lying right next to you is thinking, right? That's when that was our telepathic link. That's when there was that connection that happened, and we became telepathic. We tested it, we played with it, we proved it. It's been a fun ride, I tell you, it's been a fun ride. And so when I was in this dimension, this girl pulled me through. It's the only time I took one of these entities' hands, right, in this particular dimension. And she pulled me through, and within the split second, she said to me, they know you're here. They know you're here. I turned to see who they were because of the direction she was looking in. No face. She had no face, just long hair. The closest I can say she was like was the girl out of The Ring. I think it's The Ring or The Grudge or something like that. Anyway, I felt more safe with her than I did with all these angelic and stuff that came in. I'm a weirdo like that. And I saw two men in black, what we here on Earth call the men in black. And I saw them and I'm like, shit, they're real. And they were coming for me. So I started to run, and I found that when I moved one step, I straight across. And I was like, well, I didn't fall over. And one of the patterns and the practices that I've done in the dimensional realms is flying. Okay, I've had a lot of dimensional practice. And so I was able to move. I was able to keep my balance, and I was able to move at a speed. So I got away from them. And in that time, I got to see a whole new area, a whole new civilization. And everything was triangles, triangle glass buildings. Everything was triangle. And there was the main thing that stood out to me at the time, it's never gone, because every time the Commonwealth or the Olympic Games come round, I see these buildings, because it had the Olympic rings on the side of one of these buildings. But anyway, these beings were getting closer and closer to me, and somehow I snapped back. I sat up, I looked at the direction, and I knew that I had just stepped through a doorway, because I could feel it. And this one of these guys stepped through. He stepped through it, and I didn't see him as a man in black. I saw him as a shadow figure, and I realized there was a connection to it. And then after that, I got to see they started walking back and forth right in front of me. I was sitting there one day with a guest, and we were having a couple of drinks, and not enough to be seeing shadow beings, okay? And these bloody shadow being people walked straight past us and out the front door, and I had a glass door, and it was open against the wall. And they had a reflection. They had a reflection. And to me, if it was a shadow, I wouldn't have got that at that particular time, not where the angle of the door was, not where the sun was. Now I calculate everything. All right. I calculate everything. When I was going through asking and finding out where the magnitude of what I went through stops, because I had to find out how many of these people were truly there to help me get over and through what I had experienced, when everything I had been taught was, these people are here to care for us. These people are here as our guardians, all right? But what I experienced was not what I had discovered that it was meant to be. So from there it was, I asked questions. When I went to a counselor I went through about 4 different counselors, and they all turned out to be working for the organization. I also went and started studying psychology under a different name. It's my name. And I passed. And I did it because I wanted to know what they were saying about me. I wanted to know what the labels actually meant, because on questioning them, they would not tell me. They kept just brushing over it. I wanted to know what these anxieties, what post-traumatic stress disorder meant. You know, I ended up discovering was they were just collecting information. They worked for a bigger arm of the organizations that I managed to get out of. You never actually get out of it, okay? For where I'm at and with what I know, I feel very privileged to still be here. I have seen a lot of ritual stuff. I've seen both the darker side of entities and what people call the angelic side. And for me, it was coming down to finding myself. I had to find myself. I had to peel away all the layers. And through the process of contact with the different guides that came in and the little lessons that they showed me along the way, and every now and then they'll pop in and I'll be like, okay, yep, I know what you're showing me. So it's like they will give me signals and signs, and some of these different beings work in conjunction with some of these different dimensional beings as a portal and a frequency that's been able to traverse our universe, because you start going on a journey to look after yourself and care for yourself and know who you are. So you start with taking care of the exterior, because that's who we think we are, right? Then we start going, well, I need to know the foods I'm putting in to fix the ailments of this vessel. I want this vessel to work the best as it can. And I now know that through the process of studying psychology and working with psychology for years, 20 plus years, at the same time as doing psychology, I got an opportunity to go into phlebotomy. And that's like a blood nurse at the time, doing venture punches, taking people's bloods, analyzing it. Then I got bored and I went into the labs. I got my QPT and I started working with bloods. And the magic that I saw within our blood It was like a slap in the head. I ended up getting slapped on the hand because I asked questions about the things that I was seeing and finding. So I left there. I started getting telltale signs, the warning that I'm in a place too long and I'm learning too much for them to be comfortable with. I've been in a car where they've videoed me. They've recorded what I've said. I've had people come along. I was having issues with my telecom one day. It was always staticky. And I asked for somebody to come and check it. And a guy came in and he said, I've been doing this business for 25 years and I've never seen anything like this. Would you like to come and have a look and see what I'm talking about? And I said, yes, please. Because we'd already had some freaky stuff happening. We had a lot of this, we're having a lot of paranormal activity and ETs and orbs and everything. And so I went out and had a look, and somebody had poured an acid or something on just our wires. This stuff doesn't happen. This stuff doesn't happen. Anyway, I said thank you to him. And then after that, I went and saw a specialist. I had a major specialist appointment. And she rang me back afterwards and she asked me a question that there is no way in hell's bells she would know or anybody else would have known unless they had been a witness to it. Okay. And when I asked her where she got that information, and she told me I voluntarily gave it to her, something else went off inside me. Something else went click. And I said, thank you for revealing to me what you just did. And I hung up. And after that, the whole nano universe opened up to me. I got to see the smart cities being built. I got to see them being put into process. I got to see Anadarko and the drillings that was happening around the planet and the missing missiles and the missing trillions of dollars. It just, everything started to fall into place. I ended up going to, I don't know how these things happened. I ended up in places that I wasn't of my doing. I ended up being part of David Icke's crew the second time he came to New Zealand. And that was absolutely fantastic because there were, I got to have one-on-one. And I got to see other entities in the room while he was speaking. To me, that was phenomenal because I am a witness to the beings and entities that I regularly see. And to actually go there and actually see some others from that presence. And the things that unfolded was absolutely crazy. From there, it just hasn't stopped. It just hasn't stopped. But now I'm going to jump into showing you really quickly, because I don't know how much time we've got already. I'm going to go through some of the footage of my orbs over the years. This is over a 20-year collection. And I mean, I've got thousands. Okay, I've got thousands. I've even got a video on my webpage, on the YouTube, of orbs coming into my room, and they're flashing different colors and you can see them moving around. And at one stage, there's a whole gathering of them and they actually morph into a little being. But it's taken me a long time to see it. We will see an image and only see one or two aspects of that image. But over time, the more you spend looking at that image, the more was revealed to you. And when I sat down one day and I watched the whole video, because I was going to share it, I was like, oh my God, look, there's something else in it. And it never ends. There's always something else showing up. I've caught a blue orb one day as it came through the wall, and it was going up towards the light, and I flicked the light and it got trapped inside the light. The light turned blue. I don't know what happened to the orb. So I, to this day, feel like I caught an energy in an orb. My animals have seen them. People who've been around me have seen them. Now, speaking about the orbs, I also have what I call orange plasma spheres. They are a intelligence, a being, an off-worlder. I don't believe that they're connected to this planet, not after what I've seen. They can communicate with us. They've come down really low enough that if I had a broom handle, I would have been able to touch it. They've shown themselves going up into a big, it's like a sack, okay? And as they went up inside the sack, their light dimmed out. You couldn't see them. And then this sack-like ship undulated away and up over the trees and over the top of the house. Then not long after that, I was sitting up in bed, the light was on, and this being of light came into the room. It was like an orange plasma sphere, like what I see on the outside. I've got pictures I'm going to show you. And it morphed into a silhouette of a human, and it went down the side of the bed, and then it split. It split into two light beings. One was slightly taller, one was slightly smaller, and it was feminine, masculine feeling. And then it remorphed back into one, went to the end of the bed, up the side, and leaned over the top of me. It took on texture of a human and a face that I recognized. And as soon as I recognized it, the fear factor jumped in, and I screamed and bolted out of the house, because the face that it used was my partner at the time, and my partner had gone for his nightly walk, and I thought this was his spirit coming and letting me know that something bad had happened. And on reflection of that, there was absolutely no ill will, no harm that this or these creatures did to me on that experience. They used the face that I was familiar with. So that told me that I'd been told prior that there were beings coming from the sun to visit me. I had a woman, a total stranger, and this is what happens to me, arrive at my gate, knock on my door, and say, I've got a message for you. The sun beings are coming. They're coming to you. And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Well, sweet ass, thank you for that. And off she went. And sure enough, these plasma things started coming in, and all of this. And then they came into the room. And I feel them when they're nearby. And they've told me stuff about planets and how to see through the planet, because not all of them are actually what we see. And it's been fantastic. We're just in another dimension of the dimensions. So in saying that, I'm going to jump on to the slideshow. If I get this correct, wait on, I'm just going to shrink my other stuff down and open that up. Now, do I go like that? Oh, I do go like that.
And then at the bottom, you just have to hit share screen so we can see.
Yep, got to get the right one. All right, I'm not sure what you can see. What can you see?
We have the orange orbs, and then the orb, it looks like inside of maybe a building.
Okay, just a moment. You don't have the bar that comes atop and it's got other Zoom members on it? I've got to try to shrink that.
No, it's only your screen. It's
All right.
only the show.
Okay. All right. So on here, these are the orange plasma off-world craft. This is one coming in. I can't fully see it because of the way my screen is, so I'm not sure what to do there. Wait a minute. Sorry about this. Okay, if I move that over there, maybe. All right, sorted. All right, so on here we've got the black part is the plasma spheres. If you have a look at the bottom left-hand corner, that's when it is moving. That was when it was moving and coming in. Now I've had 40 of these cross over the top of our house and go up into a bigger mothership. We jumped in the car and we tried to follow it. Okay, we've encountered these. We've come back from shopping one day and seen one in daylight, like this, what they'd look like on the fence. If you can see I'm pointing to the bloody photo. If you can see the fence one where the letterbox is, That's what we saw during the daytime in front of us. And we recognized it knew we knew it was there. And it knew we were following it. It was a really bizarre sensation. It was me and my partner at the time. We'd been having these encounters. I'm so glad I didn't do this journey on my own, because people would have thought I was crazy. And oh geez, moving too fast through it. How do I scroll? All right, I think that's the next one. I don't know if you can see the seat properly, but under the seat there is an orange orb. It is a dimensional orb. It's not the same as the one above it on the fence. So I'm just showing you the correlation of how they interact with each other on the dimensions. So this is how it was. This is a recreation. This is it coming through the roof. Can you see my cursor? What can you see? Sorry.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this one here is it coming through, taking on a different energy once it's in. Then it takes on a singularity, and then it starts to divide, morphing into two, and then it morphs back into the one. That's what it did right in front of me, right close to my bed. So this is who I call my friendly. I've got a couple of different friendlies. I've got an off-world grey who I call friendly, and this is an interdimensional orb who I also call friendly, not from the same dimensions. But in the picture on your left-hand side, there are only two orbs in this particular photo. There's actually more than that, but the two main ones I'm pointing out are showing a path. They both have a path, and I can catch up to 7 shots of one orb moving around the place. Now, this particular orb here is my friendly, and you can see it in the photo on your right-hand side. There are actually other parts of it coming in across the room and stuff. But I have to find the original photo, because I hadn't seen it until just recently, that it's actually got a further trail. So this is it coming in. I'm actually sitting having a lunch with a friend, and this orb came in next to me, and it had an exclamation mark. And at that particular time that photo was taken, my activity was questionable. So when I went back and looked at this photo and saw it, I saw the another stage of communication that I was going to have with it. The first time I started seeing these and started recognizing them was I was getting these little flashes out of the side of my eyes, and I'd turn around to look at it and I wouldn't see anything, but I was definitely seeing these flashes. I went and had my eyes checked and stuff, and they said there was nothing wrong with them and stuff. You got to remember, I crashed into a concrete lamppost when I was a kid. I went through all the different senses. I was concussed at one stage, had a concussion, but I was all there. I could hear everything people were saying. I could totally understand and understand what was happening. The only thing that was wrong was I could not speak what I was thinking. So it would go from the brain and it would get lost somewhere in space, and it'd come out like jibber jabber. And so I got a lot of shit for that from the family. They teased me. They had a good time at my expense. So in seeing this, I recognized a pattern of communication. So the next one I've got here is some of the ways that they come in. The top left-hand corner is I'm standing at an edge where there is a wall that divides the lounge or sitting room, living room, from the kitchen. And I saw this orb come through the window and start to go through the cupboards to come out this side. And I managed to take a click of the camera. I live with my camera, okay? It's always around my neck when I go anywhere. And I managed to capture this orb coming out the side of the wall. And after that, I started recognizing, seeing that orbs were coming through the roof. and then I said, okay, so how do you come in? Because there were masses of them coming in. And I said, how do you come in? And then the light that you could see on the far right side was a flash of light, like what you can see up the top here and on the side, how they moved, they traveled through. And I got to see one burst as well. And when it burst, I saw this strip here flash, and there was all of a sudden this burst of all of these orbs. And later, it was fantastic at the time. And through the process, I've gotten to learn what the differences are between what I call a synthetic orb, one that's come in to harvest energy and information, and the organic orb, which is a dimensional being who's come here to let us know that we've been hijacked. And because we've been hijacked, all the dimensions that we interact with have also been affected. So this is what was going on. This was a communication that was coming in. The guy down the bottom there had just come out of hospital. That's another story altogether. You'll have to read the book for that one. And as you can see, I'm not sure. Oh, no, I can't blow it up. But as you can see, right here is the center. This is my friendly. It has checked him out. It's checked his skin out and come back out. I've got video footage that's never going to see the light of day, where these orbs have come in, and they're very intelligent, and they're very inquisitive. They want to know what's going on. So here are some of just the different colors and patterns that they have presented themselves to me as. The one in the top right-hand corner is my golden friendly. This is the one that lives with me all the time. I always call it a he or a him. There's a masculine, almost like a guardianship sort of feeling state. And when I want to communicate, it's there. I'll find it in photos. It's proved to me that there is an intelligence behind it that I did not expect to see. I was running a class on the light net, and one of the experiments I asked the students to do, all of us, was to go out there and in the same clear intent, we all had to hold the same clear intent to take a photo at the same time. It doesn't, we've got different time zones, but if you go and do it at your 7 p.m. and I go and do it at my 7 p.m. and that's what I'm saying. The next day, I had actually asked my orb friend to do me a favor, show up in everybody's photo, because I wanted to test I wanted to test areas of it for myself. I wanted to see how these dimensions, some of the dimensions it was interacting with me in, if I was interacting in the same. So, and it was really, really buzzy, the outcome. It turned up in everybody's photo. Now, everybody wrote a color on a piece of paper and put it away. And on the day when we came back, what we found was we all put our photos up, and we got the same colors. Everybody's photo had all of these different colors in it. And towards the end, I will show you the new orbs that have been showing up. How much time do I have? Sorry.
Let's see. Let's go until about another 20 minutes.
Sweet as. Here we
That'll
go.
put us at 8:15. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to fly now, guys. Hold on. Okay, so here, this is the one that came in and started communicating with me. I then got this one, and I'm like, wow, over time, it has actually shown me that there's another sphere inside it. It's a ship. It also showed me that there are beings on the outside of it on both sides. Then I got this one here. Up here in the corner is a being that came out of it. So this here is a ship. This here is a ship. This here is an orb. Okay. Living consciousness, ship. Oh, shit. All right. Over here, just here, you can tell that this is a ship because it's about to be open. You can see that it's starting to hatch. Up here, it's starting to open. This centerpiece here, the solid form, which is like this one up here on the blue one, is about to be released. Down here in the middle, you can see where it has actually left the ship. The difference between the ships and the orbs is when you have an opening like this, you can actually see that there is a sphere inside it still. All right. I used to think they were just called hatchlings, but now I've seen more information, which is they've gathered a certain amount of energy and they're able to morph into different creatures for a short period of time. But each time they do it, the time frame gets longer and longer because they're gathering more and more information. So here you can see there's two different ships here. They're both ships. So you've got the energies coming in. Then on this side here, this is my head. They like heads. So you can see that over here, there are two entities about to leave this ship. You can see it's a ship as it still has a inner sphere around it, moving along. Yep, that's me. Yep, you can see how it goes for me. And this is me over here on the other side. So you can see how it goes. I get a lot of different sorts that come in. When I see orbs now, there are a different variety of orbs that come from that particular dimension. So if you can imagine, we had a veil and then there was this hole that opened up, and now every kind of creature from that side is starting to come in, but they're going to still appear like ships and orbs, right? So moving down. So here's me again. This is my friendly. Okay. Yeah, and then this is my friendly up here as well. There's actually it shows up twice in this photo, but I can only see it once at the moment because of, oh, there you go, you can see it. Then this was me just a couple of weeks ago. I went out there and I just said, are you still about? And I got it straight in the top of my head. And this is the photo. This is the same photo from the other angle, front and back at the same time. So you can see it right there, right there. Then we have, oh, geez. And then you can see there's another one coming in. Everywhere I've gone, orbs show up. So this is a ship here with it opening up and something coming out of it. These different creatures here have come from orbs. They've come out of orbs. This one here in the middle, you can see the orb has opened up and it has come out looking like a butterfly or a moth or something. This is what they look like in the long term. This was on the back of my cloak. This was above my head. We get blue ones, I get orange ones, I get all sorts. This over here, this is in daytime. These are a couple of daytime photos of my friendly. You can see it moving across the room yet again. It's always investigative. So I put this one as not a daytime one, this is a nighttime one, but because it was showing up and it was glowing, I thought I'd better add it so you can actually see that it's the same. Oh, been there that way. Daytime, in my house. A friend wanted me to prove it one day, and I said, okay, pick a color. She said pink was her favorite color. And I said, okay, show up, and it showed up, and it showed up pink. This is my friendly down here at a party. Everywhere I go, I went to work with this chap here, a good friend of mine. Friendly turned up. This one down here, I went to a place to do a reading for a young lady, and my friendly came along and checked out the participants. This was a function that I was, that's me standing up there, I was hosting, and a friend took a photo and said, look, your mate turned up. So as you can see, and this is just recently, this is in the yard, and they've changed, and there's the blue one. So this is what it's come down to now. This here was the photo that this was the orb that turned up when I asked for everybody to do the experiment. And because I ran out of time, I didn't get permission from all the other students to show you theirs. But as you can see, this is all I can show you at this point. Next time I'll probably be able to share them. But this is what they were turning up like. So we all got the same orb turning up with this color at the same time on the same day. So we found that very interesting. Now I just got to work out whether it was the orb that I'm in communication with or not. So I'm waiting for information from that. So the orbs have changed. They're getting more solidified as they come in. This is from around our property here. And I should have blown this one up a bit better, because there is some changes that I'm saying are now more mechanical than organic. And I feel like they are actually mimicking what some of the actual orbs from the dimensions are. So I'm keeping an eye on that one as well. Probably sound really crazy to you. So here's some of the paranormal stuff. This was the same evening I went and communicated with this young lady, and I kept feeling a presence around her, and I asked her, would you mind if I took a photo, because I keep seeing an image next to you. And I was absolutely blown away when I got this in the photo. I thought, how fantastic is that? And then over a period of time, I started finding, I've got photos, I've got a whole collection of photos where these lights have turned up. I used to think they were just rods. Down here in the corner, there's one coming into the yard. That's my cat there. That's my cat there. The couch is there because we just finished having a bit of a party. And then I've got rods that turn up. I get beings waving out to me in the distance. I get headstones that nobody else can see there, that once were there, and I get to see their face on the side. Over here, a spirit in a top hat with a beard, a collar, grey vest and pants with a long jacket is standing looking at his own headstone. This is where I'm living at the moment. This is one of those plasma spheres that came in. I was taking photos of orbs. You can actually see orbs floating around the house. And then I got a ship come in. Over here, this was at a previous property. There is a tube. When I blow this up, it's like what they're calling those cigar-shaped ships. This was a huge cloud. This was a huge ship. I'm trying to circle all of the photos I get now where anomalies turn up over my house. I mean, this you can't deny that there's a metallic ball hovering over the top of my house. So, oh no, what is it? And I don't get Wi-Fi out here. I don't get cell coverage out here. One of the things I said when I first moved here, I was saying, well, I'm not seeing these orange plasma spheres as much as I used to in the town. And I thought, well, maybe it's connected to the Wi-Fi. Maybe it is connected to the military. And then just after saying it, the same evening, we're sitting there and we're having a bit of a fire outside, and a whole row of these orange plasma spheres just go past and let us know, no, we're still here. So here's some of my cloud formations that they show me. I get different ships. I get different beings showing up. There's two different beings here. They write to me in actual words that I can understand or understand. That says HEYU. And on some of the experiences where I've been yelled at, I've woken up to a female voice saying, "Hey, you," because the name that I grew up with through the darker side, I don't use. And any entities coming in to my frequency now that use those frequencies, I don't interact with. So when they didn't know what to call me, they started calling me, "Hey, you." You got to remember, these entities have been with me all my life. So I've now put in boundaries and rules, and they've got to adhere to it. So these are some of the different angel forms that I've had come in. I've even had the goat, the owl, duck. Oh, they come in all sorts. So getting down towards the end here, I've got a couple of books coming out. They should be out by September. So one is, we were meant to be talking about self-navigation today. Basically, this whole journey that I've gone through has shown me different elements of myself and the capabilities that we all have, how we perceive our surroundings, how we feel our inner knowings. And you've got to learn, you've got to know to trust in yourself. And it's really, really hard to begin with, to actually identify that there is more to us than our surroundings. We are interacting with multidimensional beings all the time, all the time. You're not solely influenced by just your environment or the frequencies. You're also, you're also influenced by other entities around you. When you start trusting in yourself and go, "Yeah, I did actually see that flash. Now I'm going to check it out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, I could see that. Pick up the camera. Where is it going to move to? Just click. Just keep clicking. Just keep clicking." Find yourself that confirmation. Every question you could ever ask, you have the answer for. You just got to believe in yourself. Trust in your knowings. We're going to make mistakes now and then, but it just means we're going to improve in that weakness area, right? There's nothing we can't overcome. They throw everything at us, but we're getting to a stage now where we can identify it before they do it. And then they've got nothing left to throw at us. So there you go. I'll open it up for questions if you like.
I think I know I have 100 questions, but I'm going to let other folks ask the questions. I do want to say, I met with you and a couple other people, I guess it was about a year ago, and we were looking through various orb photos, and the things that you were showing us at that time, I was blown away, and I'm blown away again tonight. And I want to thank you for coming on, for sharing your story. You've really been through a lot. You've come through a lot. People, they kind of scoff sometimes about secret societies, but they're real. All of these things that we're talking about, other people have experienced as well. And so it's very brave of you to come out to share this information. And I can't wait to get your book. I hope you'll send me an autographed copy. I'll buy it straight from you to get an autographed copy. That'll be awesome. But I do want to open this up and let other people ask some questions, because one of the things, a lot of people end up having orbs show up in their photographs. And still to this day, they will try to, oh, maybe it's dust, or, oh, maybe it's this, or, oh, maybe it's that. And when in fact, it actually is an orb. It's another consciousness that's come into our field. And as the veils between the worlds continue to thin, more and more people are seeing them. It used to be you could only catch the orbs with a camera of some type, and not all cameras would do that. But now people are seeing them with their own eyes. They're floating around and they're catching them in their house. They're buzzing by, and other people are witnessing it too. And so I want to thank you for putting this together, because it may encourage some people out there that's watching this to go back through their own photographs. And I do have to tell you, just because you take a photograph today and you don't see anything in it, doesn't mean there's not something there. I have gone back time and time again, and all of a sudden, there are things that will appear in the photographs that were not there the day before. And I don't know if it is some type of a consciousness that's kind of waiting to open up when we're ready, or what it is. But I'm not the only one that has experienced that. And I'm glad that you're bringing this, because we're not the only ones that's experiencing it. Other people are as well. And so I will be quiet and go ahead and take questions for Stone. Does anybody have a question? I think you blew them away, Stone.
We pick up on the energies around us. So if you're not seeing orbs right now, don't worry too much, because they will show up. They're going to show up for everybody. You will recognize when you see, because I've been able to do my collection over years, I got to see a familiar pattern. One particular orb would turn up all the time. And because I was able to see that and believe that it wasn't just a dust particle, I took away the limitation of somebody else's limited beliefs. All right, there is so much to this. We are breaking programming by allowing ourselves to believe that there could be other entities out there. And when we align with that frequency, the beings that also align with that frequency will be seen by you. Some of the things the orbs and some of the beings have shown me is when they've come in, it's like, we don't see you as the vessel. We see you as the light energy being, the frequency signature that you are. So to them, they're seeing us as we see them. It's the same as some of the, the angelics that have come in, some of the demons that have come in. I'm seeing them because I've interacted with them for such a long time. I've acknowledged their presence in just being there, and that's allowed that frequency. It's like when you're cleaning out a tube, a pipe that's been blocked. You clean it out, you let it heal, you clean it out a bit more, you let it heal. And each time you do that, you get a bit more information and a bit more information. And before you know it, you're right at the center of that cockpit.
Right.
And you can go anywhere within your boundaries, because there's rules. You have to, the first and foremost is stay calm. Stay calm. It's a good frequency, right? No matter what is thrown at you. If you're not calm, you can't stay focused. You can't stay in that clear hearing. You want to hear where it's coming from. Is it coming from the person that's relaying the message? Is it coming from somewhere else? And then you start going, okay, well, you can speak to them on another level. You don't have to be rude. The next one is truth. Stay in your most authentic self. All right, be you. If you start catching yourself embellishing something or lying, stop yourself. You don't need to. The journey that you've done is so fantastic. It's amazing. It is truly amazing. You have to believe in yourself. When people said to me, can you see auric fields around people? I'm like, well, what the hell is that? When I look at somebody, I see this haze. I see this energy haze around people all my life, but I didn't know it was called an auric field. I didn't know what it was made up of. And then I started playing with it. And over time, it went from being a haze to actually being able to see the different dimensions that are around us. We're like a bloody rainbow, right? So it's like, allow yourself the growth, the acknowledgement, appreciation. Stay in your most authentic truth. It's at this point is what I found to be my highest frequency. So
thank you. And I see that Bridget has a question from our Awake and Ascending family. Hey guys, thanks for being on with us.
Hello, hello, Stone. This was so fun. So I think you partially answered Rod's question, but our very own Rod Lamborn wants to know, do awareness or communication from your experience of experiencing the orbs and clouds change over time? Are you able to continually tap into that moment of time, the photo, for new information?
Yes, absolutely. It's like what we were saying. You can look into a photo and see an image, but over time, each time you look at that photo, you're going to find something new because you're allowing yourself to. It's there. There's a lot of information there. Sometimes we just need to tune ourselves into it. But yeah, I hear it in the frequencies that come in, the high pitch, the low pitch. When I get a field come in and it comes across, a wave comes across, it can come in at one pitch and go out a different pitch. Okay, that tells me I've just gotten a download of information. I'll analyze it later.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, amazing. We have another question, Sheila. May I ask that?
Sure.
Susan asks, do the orbs physically interact with you in your house, such as manipulating electrical appliances like lights? And she says, thanks. The photos are amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I've had interaction. The cats see them. Okay, I've got 6 cats now. Anyway, the cats see them. I walked into the wash house one day, the laundry room. My cat was standing in front of me, and a black shadow orb came through the wall over above the washing machine, right in front of us. It hovered for a second, turned, it went through the blooming door. It went through the doorway and into the other part of the house. And it was like me and the cat, we just looked at each other. We just looked at each other and walked in. We walked into the lounge, and that was letting me know that I was going to have a visitation in the form of what some call night terrors. But the terror itself is just a frequency alignment. And when I'm in it and having a communication, there's no ill will or harm or anything. But when I'm communicating verbally, the sounds that you'll hear on the outside sound like I'm going through some form of terror. So yeah, they interact with, they switch the kettle off and on. I've had things flush the toilet. The doors get opened regularly. The cats get chased around the house, knocking on the windows, all sorts of stuff. So, yep.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Hey, Susie, you have your hand up.
Don't you just love Stone? I mean, right when she gets to a real scary part, she bursts out laughing, you know? Everybody's like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And she bursts out laughing to put you at ease, you know? I love you, Stone. I just think you're the most amazing. Her orb collection is amazing. Their photos. Connect with this girl, you guys. She is amazing. I love you, Stone Hobbit.
Thank you, Susie. I think you're awesome. I love your energy as well.
No, really, she's so mystical and so weird, but it fits so perfectly with everything that happens. It's so great. Thank you for being here. We adore you. Thanks, Stone.
Thank you.
And weird's a power word, right? We own that word.
Right.
Yeah.
With pride.
Yes, and there are a couple of things in the chat in Zoom, Sheila. Karina says, do you experience the orbs through other senses besides visually? And do
Yes,
they show up in dreams?
yes, yes, and yes. They like to tingle. It's like they like to kiss me on the cheek. It's like it's honestly, it's like a little tiny tingle on your face, and it's heavy enough that you don't scratch. Okay, that's how I feel when they come in. They like to play with my hair. Now I'll be sitting here and I'll be doing a Zoom chat, and all of a sudden a piece of hair will get pulled out the side. It's like, yes, they let me know that they're around. They're not afraid to show up when they want to show up. I've been on Zoom calls with people in the past, with clients and stuff, and all of a sudden it starts having orbs all around me, an orb shower out of nowhere, so there are weird things that happen. I have a weird thing with electronics. Sometimes I can raise my hand and the hand will get raised somewhere else as if I'm doing it, but I'm not even touching the keyboard. So there's all sorts of stuff. I've been a targeted individual, so I know we're constantly being watched. We're constantly being monitored, and we're constantly being communicated with. We're always making choices and decisions, and I didn't expect to be on the side of light, because I know that there's just as much danger in the light as there is in the dark. But when you change the perception of the energy and how you use it, the scary goes away. You step into, I don't call it pride, okay? I call it mana. It's my mana, okay? I earned this. I stand here with my head held high. This has been a journey with this vessel, and I appreciate all the craziness this poor little vessel has had to go through to get here. I look at the foods we eat. I look at the magic in alchemy. I drink probiotics. Everything I make is some form of probiotic living organism. I give thanks in a different way than just eating food. I don't class myself as a useless eater anymore. I class myself as doing a wellness. This is wellness. This is a journey. And there's a lot of little secrets that when you look into a photo and you see one image, and then later on you come back and you see more within that photo, you're not just seeing that, you're also getting a download of new information. And it will show up because the photo was the key. This is just some of the little things that I found through the process. So
awesome. Thank you so much. And Brandon has his hand raised. Hey, Brandon.
Hi. Hey, Stone.
hey, Brandon.
So I have this, it was taken about a year ago. I was doing like photos for like, capoeira and athletic stuff, and I hired a photographer, and he sent me the photos back, and he's the one that pointed it out. He was just, look at this, and what it was like literally like my whole rainbow like light body, just like I've never seen it before, and I've only shown it to a couple people because I mean like it's like I don't know what to say. Other people, like, if you're not into this, you're probably thinking like, oh, so I just kept it to myself. But I noticed in that photo is like once I zoomed in, like all the million orbs and everything, and that was the first time I've been like, astonished, and I keep it on my desktop. But one of the photos that you showed earlier about like the kind of like squiggly worm looking one, so
Yep.
was the one that had like, it was in the top left, and
Yep.
I've been seeing like that in my eyes since I was little, and I still can see it currently. And I always thought like, oh man, I've got like like eye parasites that you see and everything. And like I went to the eye doctor or whatever, and I was like, what is this, am I getting like like something, or cataract and nothing? It was like, no, your eyes are fine. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, whoa, so like, and I like, from then I kind of like knew it was like, something that I'm obviously seeing every, like, no matter which direction I go, I'll see it. And when I try and like focus on it, it'll move like out of like, vision. I kind of like got to follow it. But that was the first time that I've seen it in like, another photo. I'm like, oh, maybe this is more than something than what, like, I thought it was, but I don't know, like, I don't have any words other than like I'm finally coming to like understand all these things that I'm seeing, and then it's not just me, it's not just my eye.
I
So
have when you talk about your rainbow the rainbow body, I was working on a article of clothing, because I also do, I'm a jack, a Jill of all trades, a lot of trades, okay, master of none. And a friend took a photo of me, and there's a rainbow, a literal rainbow that goes over the top of me, right over, and there's all these orbs all around me and stuff. Because I know where you're at, I can actually, I'll send you a photo of it. I'll send you a copy of it and see if it's much like yours.
yeah, so from what you're saying, that's exactly like it is, like all like the rays coming out, and every single, like it's just like every time I look at it, I'm like, I can't believe that he just took it with like a regular camera, unedited everything, and I'm like, wow.
I've tried it with 5 or 6 different cameras, so it's not the camera. This is something else. And after taking hundreds of photos of all these orbs, you get to tell what is dust, what isn't dust, okay, what is hair follicles, what are fabric follicles. Eventually you'll see that you've got your own friendly and they'll turn up, coming through the roof, wiggling in through the walls. They'll turn up. You'll see them in there and start seeing them in patterns in your photos. So
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
Brandon.
you. Thank you.
That was a great last question to have. Stone, I want to thank you so much for being here. Literally, we could talk for hours and go through all of your photos for days. So I want to thank you for sharing with us what you were able to in our talk tonight. And I want to thank everyone for being here. We have about 3 minutes left. So let me ask, do you have any final comments or anything that you'd like to leave with people?
Oh, honestly, believe in yourself. Okay. We're so amazing. We're some fantastic energies within all of us. And just be your most authentic self, because what you do here has a ripple effect through all the dimensions that you are interacting with, and all of the dimensions on the exterior here that we interact with. So you go down the street and smile at somebody, they're going to smile. You're going to change their frequency. So if you're happy in here with clear intent, then that's going to ripple all the way out there. And there's no, I haven't found it yet, and I'm still looking, but there's no stronger power than you knowing yourself. All right. You can't help anybody else if you don't know how to help yourself. You don't want to tread on somebody's toes or ill will. So it's like, you get to know what your free will is. You get to take back what's yours. You can say no and know what it actually means, the power behind it. You start looking at words and you change the words. You realize there's 2 meanings to every word you use. Then you see there's energy, spell casting behind it. And then you see how they've been using those energies against us and why. If you think about all the stuff they've done against us, we must be some absolutely amazing energies. All right. So believe in yourself, because it's important. Stay in your most authentic truth. Stay calm. Enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. And thank you everyone for being with us tonight. I appreciate it. If you're watching and you have not signed up to be on our mailing list, please do so. Visit us at thegalacticalliance.org and sign up. You can attend our weekly meetings and ask your questions to all the different speakers. And also, I'd like for you to visit the consciousawakeningnetwork.org and sign up to be on that mailing list. You can watch all of the Cosmic Conversations on YouTube as well as on our website. So we look forward to having you somewhere watching us and hopefully joining us soon. So thank you guys so much for being here, sending everyone much love. And until we're back together again on Monday, namaste, everyone. Much love. Have a great week.
Hey,
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Stone.
thank you, Sheila. Thank you,
Bye.
Stone. Thank